I've even had to go to the back to the drawing board as well. I'm spending X amount for groceries. I'm spending X amount on this because I know I want to try a certain different type of treatment. Welcome to Unmasked Life with Autoimmune. I'm your host, Ash from Ash Fights Lupus, and we're here to rewrite the rules. Let's get to work. Unmasked. Hey, y'all. So, one of the things that I didn't anticipate is when you get diagnosed, so do your pocketbook. I don't know if you guys have heard, but you know I have my notes because brain fog. But living with lupus involves significant financial planning. Medical costs for people like you and I typically range from about $13,000 to $68,000 a year annually. And so that's just medications, operations, senior specialists, things like that, right? You don't account for it. Like you do not plan on being sick and having a sick fund. So here are the top three things that I deal with as it pertains to maintaining my autoimmune diseases annually, right? So, the first thing is the out of pocket splurges, right? So, at the beginning of the year, one of the things that I try to do is go ahead and get on the phone with the United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, whoever I'm partnering with this year for insurance. I get on the phone with them. Hey, I am someone who has lupus, Sjogren's, Raynaud's disease. I'm a epilepsy patient, a stroke survivor. Like I share everything that I can with them so that I can know my options. I then go to my specialist, right? And for me having lupus, that's going to be my rheumatologist, my dermatologist, my psychiatrist, my counselor, my cardiologist, Lord, did I say 'em all? The ophthalmologist, like, it's every person that treats me as it pertains to lupus, and I see one of those specialists for a lupus thing, right? And I say lupus most often because I am being seen for Sjogren's and Raynaud's at different specialty places, but it all stems back to the lupus for me specifically. That was my first diagnosis, and so from there, we've seen things attach or connect itself to lupus. And so as you begin to get your diagnosis, you will begin to see other people, their providers, other specialists, and they will need their own amount of testing. Please excuse said dog over there. Dog, sit down. Once you diagnose, you find that you have your rheumatologist sending you to different places, different specialists, right? One of the cool things about my rheumatologist specifically, shout out to you know who you are. Yo, I will gatekeep my rheumatologist. I'm just kidding. I will share, but I love him. Y'all don't bog him down. He will send me to different people, right? To make sure that what he's saying in my blood level is correct. I've been to a hematologist because of him. He has referred me to my ophthalmologist who helps to make sure that the hydrochloroquine isn't harming my eyesight, right? Because I have now been on it for 12 years. So just different things that I've learned in different places I have to go to, but those all come with a financial strain, right? Typically for insurance, you have to pay your deductible down before everything is free, right? And when I say everything is free, the additional testings, things like that. And so really it's the multi-system, multi-care, right? that you are coming across. I will give you some tips in just a second here if you keep watching on, how to navigate that. The second thing that I have learned has been a huge issue for people in our community is finding stable employment. So I'm super blessed to be a digital marketer and journalist. I am a journalist by trade. That's what my degree is in, as well as social science. I have been in digital marketing now since 2015. And so I am one of those people who can jump into corporate, but I also maintain my own businesses. I also help with my husband's business. He has a catering company. And so those additional sources of income help us to maintain our lifestyle while paying for treatment, right? I want to be honest, right? So the studies show that over half of people with lupus experience some type of partial or complete loss of income. If I can't use my fingers, I can't do whatever it is that I'm trained to do, right? I think when it comes to being diagnosed, you have to do what's best for you. I know a lot of people who do not work. Girl, that's fine for you. Something you can do. I know some people who cannot stop working, and that's okay sometimes. but you really have to do what's best for you. And so that's why I'm putting this video together so that if you are experiencing some of these, financial strains as it pertains to maintaining your lifestyle and being well, getting well, then please implement some of these tips that I'm going to share with you today, okay? Because flares can extend off of work, right? It interrupts your career, your lifestyle, just different things. So I have been family planning for years now. I've been in a flare up for years now, right? And so these are just some of the things that, because of the autoimmune diseases that I am currently fighting and beating, I find myself having to go with the flow more, right? Sometimes the flow is expensive, right? So I think there's a need for a long time emergency planning, right? Usually somebody has a rainy day fund or emergency fund, and that is correct. But you also have to be aware of what it is that you need and when you need it. So I recently started working with a health advocate. I won't share the information just yet because I am not sponsored by them. But I have found that working with someone helps me to stay atop of my treatments, my schedules, my appointments, things like that. And so when it comes to emergency planning, you want to make sure that you also have financially someone who is responsible, but someone that is able to speak to the finances. So I'm grateful that it's my husband for me, but there needs to be someone that can always say, hey, at the rheumatologist, this amount is here. This is how you log into the bill portal. This is what the updates on your tests are. So, because it can't always be you, right? So, one of the things you want to do is make sure that really you have just a large buffer, right? Sometimes you're out of work for extended amount of times and that's okay, right? You're healing, you're getting better, right? But you want to make sure that as you are healing and getting better, you're not falling behind, right? And so if you can put an additional $100 to the side that you're not going to use, that will help you when it comes time to a flare up. Find yourself in the hospital, find yourself needing additional treatment. You'll be able to pull from that fund instead of your everyday living expenses, right? That keep you, in your home, that keep your bills paid, that keep your refrigerator full, right? And so one of the things that I want to mention as a huge tip. There are several organizations. I would love to name some of them for you, like the Lupus Foundation of America or the Patient Advocate Foundation. These are just different financial directories. Sometimes they offer copay, right? You can go to any medical company that you receive medication from and check and see if they have a patient savings program. It doesn't matter. If your medicine is through Lilly, if it's through AstraZeneca, it doesn't matter. You can go to their websites, find the homepage, right? The top page, right? So let's say for instance, Neosporin is owned by Johnson& and Johnson. You will go to the Johnson& and Johnson page to see if there's any patient assistance programs, right? You also will go to lupus.org, Sjögren's.org, right? You're going to go to the organizations that creates content and information and facts around your actual disease and see what payment assistance programs are there as well. It's been a while since I've had to use financial resources to bridge the gap, but I have had to use them. And so I, guys, I believe that we all are basically living in the same lifestyle. And so, or excuse me, the same life. And so if you find yourself needing treatment, but not sure where your next payday is coming, please reach out to the actual companies that you're taking the medicine for, right? You're not doing anything abnormal or weird. I'm telling you, these programs are in place. They're not always talked about, though, right? One of the other things that I like to do is work with organizations that are local and near to me. I have a church home. If you are with a church or you're involved in a religious organization, please go home, go to them, and let them know who you are, what you're doing, what you may be in need of. I would start first with the community that I'm already in. If you're a part of an organization that is community building, that has a community, let them know they want to reach out to their community first, right? And so reach out to the community you're already in, see if there are additional funds or benefits that you can tap into. One of the wonderful things that I've learned is at every pharmacy, right? There is a GoodRx card, right? Why those good people at GoodRx decided to find savings for medical insurance, I'm not sure, but you can use that with your insurance. You can also ask for a non-insurance cash patient payment amount. You are not always able to pay via insurance. I understand. If you are in your state where you were born and there is not insurance available to you through a commercial license, please go to the state that you were born in. Typically, it is a 211 number, and you will go to the state, let them know who you are, what your needs are, and then ask for resources, right? I'm begging you, please continue to ask for resources. I know quite a few people who feel that their treatment is limited, but it's only because they're not asking enough questions, okay? So you can also go back to the provider that is treating you and say, I am needing assistance with finances. I'm needing assistance with finding cheaper medication. One of the things that I can't do is always run to the grocery store due to the sun, right? And so delivery is available. There are resources available to you that food can be delivered, y'all. Medicine can be delivered. A nurse can come in to the home. All of these things are available to you. And then last but not least, I encourage you. I am not on SSI. I encourage you. Several doctors have suggested that as an option as well. Social Security, disability. These are things that may be available to you depending on your age and where you are financially. I encourage you to go to the state and see. If you are a woman who is pregnant, I urge you, go to the state and see how you can get assistance while dealing with an autoimmune disease and growing a new life in your belly, okay? So, one of the things I want to mention again, guys, if you don't have an answer to it and you're not sure, I need you to start asking questions. One of the things that I want to continue to celebrate in this community is our growth, right? We're not just laying down and taking it because someone said they didn't know. Did you pay them? Then you need to drive it home that I will not get an answer unless you help me get the answer. If that person will not help you get the answer, you're going to the next person, okay? One of the things that you have to do is to continue to advocate for yourself, right? This is a disease and a lifestyle that takes some getting used to, right? I haven't always been this dogmatic about getting to a doctor and saying, wait, nope, that didn't make sense. Love to get a response from one doctor, send it to the next. What's your take on this, right? I encourage you to push back. Finally, as it pertains to the difficulties of finances, I ask you to try to limit yourself right now where you can. One of the things that we currently do is we just live, right? I've even had to go to the back to the drawing board as well. I'm spending X amount for groceries. I'm spending X amount on this because I know I want to try a certain different type of treatment. Some of the treatments that I want to try are purely cosmetic, and I know that I have to wait on those, right? And so that fund that I was talking about, I'll be putting additional funds where I can back into my savings so that when it comes time to be able to work on the cosmetic parts of treatment, I'll be able to do that. When I say cosmetics, y'all, I'm not changing my face. Why would you do that, right? But there's some medicines and different type of creams and things like that that will help with color discoloration and smoothness as I continue my treatment for my discoid lupus. I want to encourage you to reach out to me. Please send me an email, ashfightslupus@gmail.com. I'm having a hard time keeping up with all of the DMs on across social media, but please send me an email. I'd love to spend time with you. I can send you a link and we can chat about a few things if you're interested. Once again, lupus will not be the reason. Your autoimmune disease will not be the reason that you don't get to live a good life. You have to continue to fight for what you deserve, which is your best life. Okay. All right. I will talk to y'all soon. Thanks again for tuning in. And until then, y'all be well.